Hello, everyone, and welcome to our last Tech Talk meeting of 2025. I know some of you have been having problems registering for our events since we changed the format, but hopefully it will be easier starting January. Once you register, you will start getting the reminders from Zoom. So you will not lose the emails after you register. For today's presentation, I am thrilled to have Darwin Belt and Neva Fairchild from WayAround. As you all know, all of us on this call are visually impaired and have problems finding things or labeling them, knowing what color they are, what they are. So that's why we thought the best thing is to end our year with something that makes our lives easier. Darwin, before we start talking about the app and what WayAround does, can you tell us a bit about the company and how it started?
Sure. I am Darwin Belt. I am the co-founder and manager of WayAround. Um, WayAround began, and actually before the company began, I had a great friend that we were both architects and we went to school together. I'm not going to say how many years ago, it was a long time ago. And we reconnected, I guess probably about 12 years ago now. And he had lost his eyesight. He had to retire as an architect. I had retired also. And we just started getting together. And I've had vision problems most of my life, my adult life. I completely lost my vision when I was about 30, was able to have it restored through vitrectomies. And so, I had a lot of empathy for Armin. And so I began to ask him what his biggest challenges were. And he told me it was most of the time he was around with his wife, and so she could match the clothes and that kind of stuff, but she couldn't help him out in public spaces, especially restrooms. And so we said, well, gosh, we're both architects, and I had actually been a programming. We had another company, had an architectural firm that we actually created software for architects. And I said, well, since I know the programming, and we both are architects, we can get around spaces, and let's just solve this problem. And so that was the beginning of WayAround. At first, we just started talking and having ideas. It was just something to kind of pass the day. But after we started coming up with some ideas, we felt like we had some really good ideas, and that's when Neva came into the picture. We went down to the local uh, American Foundation for the Blind office, and she was there. And so we kind of showed her some of our ideas, and she liked them. But after working with her for a while, uh, she was having some trouble with the things that we were doing for public spaces. And so we went a little bit different direction, and that's when we came up with the actual software here of being able to identify things and the software being on your phone. So that was the beginnings of WayAround, and it's just been kind of evolving over the number of years. People give us ideas and feedback. And again, I understand the issues of people, especially with low vision. And Neva understands the issues for people that are blind. And between the two of us, we cover a pretty wide gamut. Neva, is there anything else you'd like to add to that story?
It evolved from public spaces to use in our home and office eventually. We haven't given up on public spaces by any means. Having way around in a building that you're not familiar with is quite a helpful tool. But around the house, way around is also helpful to label and tag things in your home, in your office, in your garage, in your garden shed. And today, that's what we're probably going to focus on most. But be aware that way around for public spaces is out there and alive and well.
Absolutely. And just as a side note on that, we are working with some museums, some large national museums. We even have uh, one that's in a different country that's it's well I'm not supposed to be talking about that one yet, but we're working with some pharmacies where they can tag tags. We've done many conferences. We're working with some state parks that they've already made some commitments to have all of their state parks use WayAround. So it's a slow uh, boiling the frog, I guess, getting that out there. But we're just in the meantime, we're continuing to expand with users using it in their home. That way they don't have to learn something new when you're out in a public space. It's something you'll already be familiar with. So with that, do you want us to go ahead and start the presentation? Or Neva, do you
Please.
want to introduce yourself?
Mhm.
I'd let you jump in there about WayAround, but why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Neva Fairchild, and I have 35 years experience in the field of vision rehabilitation. And I've also lived the experience of low vision for most of my life, and now I am totally blind. So I am a voiceover user on an iPhone and a very late adopter of Braille, which I cherish and use, and used to label things with Braille, but labeling things with Braille has its limits. You just can't get herbs de Provence on a Braille label and get it around a spice bottle. So WayAround completely transformed the way I label things, and I am proud to be a part of introducing it to you.
Okay. Well, why don't you go ahead and start talking about the tags and how you might use those tags, and then
Okay,
give a brief overview first, so that we can so they can see how it works, and
sure,
then we'll come back in the details of those tags.
absolutely. So the WayAround Tag and Scan app is available on your iPhone, your Android phone, and your Blind Shell 2 and 3 phones. So whatever accessible smartphone you use, you can download WayAround from the App Store, the Google Play Store, or from the apps list for free. We have 7 different kinds of tags that affix to different kinds of objects and items in different ways that allow you to only ask the question, what is this? Once. And then you add a WayAround tag, create the label so that the next time you pick this can up out of your pantry, you touch your phone to the tag using the WayAround app, and it displays the information that you created on the tag, the information that you thought was important about that item. And that information can be as simple as red polo shirt, for example, or it can be as complicated as all of the nutritional facts and ingredients about a particular food that is in your pantry. You can add as much information to our tags as you want. The tags all have a near field communication antenna embedded in them. Sorry, does somebody have a question? I heard some. Okay.
No.
So NFC stands for Near Field Communication Antenna. And here's our most popular tag. It is a round sticker, and it's hardly thicker than a piece of cardstock. It really is about the thickness of a piece of cardstock. And inside that paper, and with that water resistant coating that's over it, there's a little tiny antenna coiled up. It looks a bit like a snail if you ever peel one open. And that sticker is on a wax paper backing so that it's not hard to peel off and stick on something that you want it to adhere to. We have 2 different kinds of stickers. Our round stickers are for anything but metal, and our square stickers are for anything and metal. The square sticker is about the size of a postage stamp, and it's barely discernibly thicker than the round sticker because there is a barrier behind the antenna that protects the antenna from the metal that this can be adhered to. For example, a metal shelf in your garage or a can of McCormick spices, because metal interferes with the reading of the NFC tag, or NFC antenna, and we put a barrier there to protect the antenna from that metal so that you can put our stickers on metal. Square goes on metal, round goes on anything but metal, and that carries through several of our different kinds of tags. The next kind of tag I want to show you is a magnet. It's about the same size as the square sticker, but it's not on wax paper and it's a little bit flexible, like the metal or the magnetic tape that if you've ever put it in a braille or low vision label maker, you can make magnetic tags to go on file cabinets and that type of thing. That's the kind of material this is. It's light on one side and dark on the other, so that you can use your contrast vision to see it. You can also feel it. It's a little bit thicker than the square magnet. So that goes on anything that a magnet will stick to. My personal favorite kind of tag is the two-hole button. That's because, as Darwin was saying, identifying colors of clothing and what they match and where they were bought and how they should be laundered and that type of thing was always a hassle for me. And these two-hole buttons that we offer are able to be sewn in your clothing so that you can identify them with a simple scan of your app on your phone. They go through the washer, through the dryer. They're even safe to go to the dry cleaners. We also have a large oval hole button. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the one that's the two-hole button is about the size of 2 dimes stacked together, to give you an idea of how big this button is. So you don't put it in the neck or the waistband of your clothing. I always put them in the side seam down near the hem on the inside of my clothing. And the lovely thing is when you want to scan them, you don't have to turn your clothing inside out to find the button. You just feel for the button and touch it through the material, and your phone will still read the NFC tag. Our large oval hole buttons are about the size of a quarter and a little bit thicker, but not 2/4 thick. And it has a large oval hole in the middle. That's where we got the name, large oval hole buttons. It's about the size of a dried bean. And this allows you to use devices to attach it to things. And I'm going to go through those in just a minute. But that oval hole is very handy for attaching to anything, even clothing, if you choose to. The last 2 kinds of tags are our way clips. Way clips are oversized plastic paper clips that the top half of the clip is a square sticker or a round sticker, and the top is discernible. You can tell this one's square, this one's round. And then the bottom half is the 2 little tangs that hold it on, let's say, a file folder. So you push it down, you put 1 tang on the front of the file folder, 1 tang on the back of the file folder, and it's going to stand there on that, especially hanging files. I really like these for. They also are closed on the bottom half, so you can use the same things that you can attach the large oval hole button to things you can use on the way clips. And again, square on metal and anything else, round on everything but metal. And these are very handy for gardeners. You can slip this down in a container with a plant in it and just put the plastic part down in the dirt and the sticker sticks up above and you can tell, okay, that's my hibiscus and I fertilized it last about 2 weeks ago. It's time the hibiscus needs some Miracle-Gro. The items that I have here to show you how to affix some of these items, both the way clips and the large oval hole button. This one is my personal favorite. It's a chenille stem, or we used to call them pipe cleaners. And it's half of one. They're usually 12 inches long. I cut this one in half. I've curved it around like a U. I slip the button onto the top point. It's hanging down there on the bottom, and now I can use this chenille stem like a twisty tie to put it around the top of a bottle, through the handle of a jug, around anything that it will fit. If you leave it long, 12 inches long, it'll go around a lot of things that are even bigger. Here's a new way that I've come up with to attach. These are Velcro tabs, and they're sticky on the back. So it's the loop side and the hook side of Velcro with peel off stickers. So you put one on the thing that you want to adhere the button or the clip two, and then you adhere the other sticky side to the button, and then you can peel it off and remove it when you're ready to go on to use that on some other item. A silicone band is another good way to hold a way clip or a large oval hole button. You push one end of the silicone band through the bottom of the clip, then you put the band through itself. That makes a lark's head knot. You pull it tight, and then I've got a big round silicone band to put around a can, to put around a package of snack food, a frozen food package, anything I want. Our tags are safe in the freezer, and the buttons are waterproof, like I said. The other stickers of the other tags are what we call water resistant. And that means they can survive getting wet, but you don't want to soak them in a sink full of sudsy water. That will definitely play havoc with the stickiness. A safety pin is another good use for the way clips or the large oval hole button. This is how you could mark your clothing if you're not crazy about sewing. They are a little bit bigger, so you might find that they dangle down a little too far. You definitely want to put that safety pin through a couple of layers, like that side seam, or preferably where the side seam and the hem meet, where you've got 3 or 4 layers to work with. But you want to also use 100% stainless steel safety pins if you're using them on clothing, because most safety pins are steel, which will rust, and they're nickel plated, which makes them look silvery and shiny, but if that plating chips, you will get rust. The last way is a simple bread tie. This came off of my own bagels. So you have a free way to get ways to attach the large oval hole button. You just put the twisty tie through and then twist it around whatever you want to mark. Our labels are so versatile that I challenge you to stump the chump. I'm the chump. And ask when you have a question, how would I attach a way tag to, and you fill in the blank. And I bet between Darwin and me, we can come up with a couple of ways. Back to you, Darwin.
Sure. Yeah, in fact, on that Stump the Chump, we had uh, the most unique type of tagging system we had was a rancher that tagged his cattle. So if we can tag cattle, we can tag just about anything else. So, and so thank you, Neva. Uh, Again, that was primarily just about how to attach the tags, and the tags are what store the information. So before I go on about how these actually work, I want to see if anybody had any questions so far.
No,
Again,
no
all,
questions, I guess.
okay. Well, all of the tags work exactly the same. There's different types of tags strictly for attaching to different types of objects. You need different things to do, different types of or methods to attach. Again, the magnets work well on top of cans in the pantry or whatever. But what would you use them for? Neva uses them for a lot of things that maybe you might not need to with just low vision. Since I have low vision, I will tell you what I use them for and where they become the most beneficial. Uh, Clothes. That is the number one thing that I uh, I get benefit out. I cannot match colors at all. I'll look at a color and I'll think it is blue and it'll be black or brown. And so I'm always, again, coming out of the closet with something, and my wife will just shake her head and take me back into the closet and help me change my shirt or hat or whatever. So clothes is a big one, and I'll show you an example here in a minute about clothes. Another one is on credit cards. Sometimes on your credit card, it's hard to see the numbers on the back if you're trying to, if you have to uh, give information about when you're calling in on the phone that you have to get that number of that credit card. And what I do is I just put that sticker on the end of my credit card and I scan that tag, and it's got those numbers. I even add the phone number to call them in case of thinking someone has stolen my card or misusing it. So it's a real nice way to be able to have that information where I can read it when someone's trying to get that from me over the phone. Uh, Another place that I use it is on medications, and not so much my medications that I take every day, but it's more some of the medications that I just use occasionally. Something like nausea medicine or diarrhea medicine or whatever. I want to make sure I get the right dosage, and I don't remember exactly what how much of that I need. And in that print on those boxes is so small. I guess I could go find a magnifying glass, but again, I would just like to be able to get that information. So there is a way that you can actually, what I do on cases like that, all that information is on the box. It's just too small. So I take a photograph of it, and then I can copy that text off of the photograph and then paste it into the tag and save that. And from then on, I just scan that tag and get that information. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of demonstrate uh, one of these buttons here. I'm going to show you again. This is the button that I'm going to be using. This is that smaller one with the two holes. And what first off, I'm going to share my screen so you can see this. Let's see. Give me just a minute. It takes a minute for my phone. I'm going to be linking my phone to the computer here. There we go. Okay. So this is the app before I've ever read anything. And so what I'm going to do down at that bottom left corner is a read button. And so I'm going to tap that, and it starts asking, it asks me to scan. And so I'm just holding that button right next to the top edge of my phone, and it does a little click, and it instantly brings up all the information so I can see all that information. This is a tag that goes with my shirt that I'm wearing. I'll let you look at that again in a minute, but it goes down, has lots of different information. You put just as much as you want to. And the thing that's nice about WayAround is we've made it where you can make the text the right size for you. We have 3 settings that are just with the size of your phone, one that's a little bit larger, and then the largest size that's automatic over here on our settings screen. But it's one of those things, if you have a setting on your phone where the print is larger, it'll automatically adjust to that. So you can get this text as large as you want it to be able to read it. And there's another tag that I've got right on the top of my hat. And I'm going to show you that. I'm not even going to take my hat off. I'm just going to scan right through the material, and you can see that I've got the information on that hat. I put the button inside of the hat. It's underneath the little band in there, so it doesn't show from the outside. It doesn't bother my head or anything. It's right there on the top of my head. But I've got that information where I can scan that and get that information exactly right there. And so when I'm matching my clothes, I can go scan that shirt. I've attached that button. I usually attach mine to the sleeves. I do that because I can, when they're hanging on the curtain on the rod, the sleeves are all about the same length, and I just go from one shirt to the other and be able to scan that. And then my hats, I have on a little rack that I could just scan those hats and tell whether it's the dark blue or black or dark brown, and make sure that they match. And so when I put the information in here, that information is the very top. If you did want to use VoiceOver, that's what it would speak. But with this right here, if you've got vision, you can certainly see all that, and you can just scan up and down there. Now before I go on to show you how to create this, I'm going to ask anybody if you have any questions right now.
Actually, I have a question. So if voiceover is not on, there's no audio?
Say that again.
If voiceover is not on or somebody's using Android,
Yeah, you
there
don't
will be voice, there will be audio.
if you have voiceover on, I'm going to turn mine on so you can see how that works.
Voiceover on. Black hat. Heading.
Okay, I'm going to rescan my hat and show you how that works. Oh, I've got to hit the read button.
Read.
Sorry.
Description. Double tap to scan. Alert. Ready to scan. Heading. Group. Black hat. Heading.
So you can see it just instantly says that. And then to get the other information, it doesn't read all the information to me. It just reads that one piece of information that we call the description up at the very top. And if you want to get the other information, you just swipe to the right.
Washing. Hand wash. List start. 1 of 4.
And again, it doesn't give all that information. It just gives whatever you want. So if I'm only trying to match it to something, I wouldn't want to listen to all this.
Drying. Other. Do not. Purchase date. Scanner ready. Press the read button below.
Yeah, I
then
could just
purchase date. March 2nd, 2024. 4 of 4. List end.
So I know when I've purchased it, so I know if it's getting old, and I can even, if I've purchased it online, through Amazon or wherever, I can copy that URL, paste that in here, and so when I want to get another hat and get a replacement, I can just tap on this, and it'll take me directly to that very same location that I purchased the hat. You can also add phone numbers, and in those phone numbers, you just tap and it instantly calls, with voiceover or without voiceover. If you're not using voiceover, it will just call. And I don't think anybody here uses the Braille, but if you do, it will also work with a Braille reader. The phone links via Bluetooth to that Braille reader. And so this text is just written out on that Braille reader so you can get that information. So we even have people that are deafblind using our app. And if you want to go back up, I would swipe to the left.
Other. Do not dry clean. 3. Drying. Tumble dry. Gentle. 2 of 4. Washing. Hand wash. List. Black hat. Heading.
Okay. And I'm going to turn the voiceover back off.
Can I
Alert.
add one little
Access
simple
selected.
thing, Darwin?
Voiceover off.
Go ahead. Yes.
So if you're using large font or enhanced contrast, that type of thing on your phone, and you don't want to have any audio, you can leave this off. But in our settings, we have a setting that you can turn on to speak WayTag. So you don't have voiceover on all the time, and it's not voiceover, it's built into our app so that it will say either just that very first text box where it said black hat, or it will read the entire tag. So it could be that when you want some enhanced audio, you just simply go into settings and turn that on. Or when you don't want your phone jabbering at you, which is why most people don't like voiceover, because it talks way too much if you don't know how to control it. And people get very annoyed with it. Even people who are totally blind get annoyed with it, and then they go to Braille displays to be able to use their phone. But that is built in. If you want some audio, you can have it without going full-blown voiceover.
That's a very great point, Neva.
Yeah.
This
And
was
I
my
just
question. Yeah.
I just turned it on my phone so that you could see that while you were talking, Neva. And
Okay.
so now I'm going to turn the button in the bottom right-hand corner. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a little button in the bottom right-hand corner that says speak. And if I tap that,
Black hat. Washing. Hand wash. Drying. Tumble dry. Gentle. Other. Do not dry clean. Purchase date.
and if I wanted to turn it off at any point, I just hit that same button at the bottom of the screen. So again, I could turn it on again, and
Black hat. Washing. Hand wash. Drying. Tumble dry. Gentle.
And it'll also read, if you have that turned on, as you scan, so you don't have to hit the speak button. But if you want it to repeat, that's a good way to get it to repeat.
So, thanks for reminding me about that, Neva.
Mhm.
So this is a good point to stop. Do people have questions about things, how you might use this?
You can unmute yourselves if you have any questions.
This is Sandy. I was wondering how long a message can you put in there? Like a sentence, a paragraph?
All of the above, Sandy. You can put as much information on a tag as you want. I don't choose to put it all in that very first edit field because I don't want to hear it all at once, but you may want to. I like to go ahead and we have a drop-down template that I'm sure Darwin's going to show you that has an add a custom edit field. And so I like to break things up into chunks of information that I would want together. I used to be a PenFriend user, and the thing that annoyed me about PenFriend was one, I could never find the doggone thing when I needed to read a label. And two, it was a voice recording and you had to listen to the whole doggone thing to get to the last little bit of information, which was how long to bake it and at what temperature for my Jiffy corn muffin mix. And really, when I was starting to bake, all I wanted was that 350 degrees. And with WayAround, I can just swipe, 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 swipe past all of that stuff I know I don't want. And the very last thing is going to say, bake at 350 degrees for 20 minutes.
So I guess then the next question is how many additional fields can you put in?
Yes, all of the above. Just keep going. I mean, as much as you want.
Okay.
Yeah, Neva's absolutely right. One of the things we use NFC very different. In fact, we have, I forget how many patents, it's about 10 patents on our system. What we do is we use a unique number on the tag, and we link that tag to our app. And then that app, when you write the information, it writes it on your own phone and immediately backs it up to the cloud. And so you're literally unlimited for the amount of information. We're not limited. If you were writing the information directly to that tag, you could only get maybe a paragraph. But we can get just as much as we want. In fact, I'm going to show you something. One of our public tags here. Let me come in here and let's see. I think I've got one. This is one of the things that's really nice. We can put links on here. This doesn't work for the personal tags, but for public tags, I can link this. And this is a museum we're working on. It's a World War II museum.
National World War II Museum buildings on campus. Map of the National World War II Museum campus.
I'm going to turn that speak back off here. But you can see there's just lots of information here. And the thing that's nice that for our public tags, we can actually link from one tag to the other in buildings. So this is an entire campus. They have 7 different buildings. And so that Louisiana Memorial Pavilion, I can touch that and it goes to a whole different tag. And then that one can go to another tag for the exhibits, on the different floors. I could go to just any one of those in there. I can go back to where the restrooms are. I can select a particular men's restroom. And so you can see, I've not even scanned all those tags. Those are just information that I've pre-put in. We can add photographs and things on the public tags. And even once you're using that, there's buttons up at the top corner. In fact, this is for the personal tags too, where you can hit the button to the right and it goes to the last tag, or you can go backwards and you can keep going backwards to hitting several tags to see which tags that you've already read. So I can go all the way back to my black hat there. So the information that you add, again, it's unlimited, but we break it up, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to edit this tag right here so that you can see what's on there. You can see, in fact, like the sorting, I did not even put that information in there. But if I would have wanted to put something in there, I could have added, some color in here, darks or whatever. Uh, and I go down and these are preformed. This is a preformed template for clothing, but you may want some other information on that also. And that's one of the things that we've done at the very bottom of every template is you can hit that little plus button and you can add text, a date, an email, a heading, a link, a phone, time, whatever you want to put in there. So if I say text, it puts in a text field. On that text field, you can add something on that text field that is, it's got a little heading. So you could add, let's see, I'm just going to put in some, time, and then you could type in 10:30 or whatever you want to type in. Or, again, you can just put in the entire paragraph. I can dictate it. So as I'm talking, I click the little button down at the bottom right-hand corner, and it's just taking everything that I say and putting that into it. And then I can hit the button at the bottom right corner again, and it's no longer there. It's not dictating anymore. And I would hit the right button, and I would write it back to that tag. I think that was this tag right here. I'm going to, that's a black hat. I'm going to go ahead and write that to my hat. So I'm holding the phone up to my hat. And so it just wrote it to my hat, the tag in there. And you can see that the sorting is up there. The darks is there. And that information that I dictated in is down there at the bottom. And if I were to read the voiceover, it would just read all that. But it always, with the voiceover, it just reads the very first item, because when I'm trying to find which hat to wear, I don't need all the sorting and washing information or the garbage that I just put in there. So I wouldn't have to listen to that. I'm going to show you one other thing in here too. Again, this works pretty nice too. If you wanted to use it this way, I know there's a lot of things on your phone that you can call people. But if you're editing things, I was going to just show you some of those things that like the link. If I add in a link, all I have to do is I could say for black hat. And down here in this link, I would go over to, when I was going to Amazon or something. And if I found something that I wanted, let me just pick something right here, anything in here. I'm just showing you kind of how it would work. If I go into that one particular item right there, I go to the top and just copy that and then go back to my screen, paste that in there, and then write it again. So now at the bottom, there is a link. And I'm going to come back over here, and on my Amazon, I'm going to change it to something else so that you can see that. I'll just go to the WayAround screen. So now if I come in here and I just tap that black hat, if I'd actually gotten that particular thing, it would actually give me that exact screen to be able to go to it. So it's very simple to add information. Again, you can dictate, you can copy and paste, and you can just type things in there. And again, there's all kinds of different templates. Again, whether I was going in with cleaning supplies, and again, there's drop downs that just automatically pick things in there, so you don't have to type things in.
Can I add something, please, Darwin?
Sure.
Some of you may be thinking, oh my gosh, this is so hard. This is so complicated. How will I ever do this? I want to tell you that if you can create a text message and send it to somebody, you can create a WayTag. And if you can go to a website and use a drop-down menu or a combo box to open it up and move down through, like, let's say putting your birth date in. If you can move down from January down to whatever your birth month is and select that and then go to the day and select that and go to the year and select that, you can use the drop-down templates on WayAround. And because we have made this completely accessible, no matter which access technology you're using, you won't run into the glitches that you run into sometimes on other websites and other apps that aren't particularly intuitive and aren't particularly friendly to those of us who use access technology.
That's a very good point. One of the things as a mantra for WayAround, I've been in the programming business for a long time, and I know a lot of programmers, they like to keep tweaking things and making it better and better and better. And that's good, but every time they tweak things and they make it better, I have to relearn it. And so that's one of the things that when we make a change, we really think about it. And we never make big changes. If there's something that's a fairly significant change that we want to incorporate, we'll actually take it phase by phase and just make one little change on one version, and a year later make another little change, and then a year later make the final change. So you've been able to get to that new version of things very easily without having to relearn the entire app. We just in fact, we don't make very many changes this point. We sometimes will add an additional feature, but we just make very few changes. We've tried to keep it very simple. When you first bring the app up, it's only got about 4 or 5 items on the entire screen. That read button at the bottom, and even the edit button is not there until you've read something or created something.
And to point out for you guys who are Android users, there is no read button. For an Android user, you simply put the back of your phone somewhere around the middle of your phone onto the tag when you're ready to read it or you're ready to create it. And the Android phone reads automatically. You don't have to tell it, hey, I want you to read this tag. That's specific to the iPhone only.
So we've been doing a lot of talking. I'm sure that there's going to be some questions out there. Why don't you see, if you have some questions, you had some good questions a while ago, go ahead and ask us some more.
Sandy, you're unmuted.
So, yeah, I have another question. So, when you're reading the tags now, let's suppose I have, 4 shirts and 3 sweaters hanging in my closet. How do I make sure that I'm reading the right tag and that it's not reading one close by?
Excellent question. These near field communication, which is the technology we use, it's in the again, I've got an iPhone. There is a reader inside of my phone. It's right here at the very top edge. And when that reads, it only reads for about a ½ inch or a quarter-inch. So it's not going to read a shirt next to it. You have to, it's near field. It's just like the Apple Pay. If you go to pay for things at a restaurant or whatever, Apple Pay or Android Pay, you just tap your phone to it, and that's how it reads. So it will not read something a distance. There's a lot of people that they keep asking us, how close can I put something, because they want to put put some tags very close together. And I typically say, try not to put them closer than 2 inches together, but you can get them an inch from each other and still pick which one you want to read. In fact, you could get even closer, because you could start, just kind of hold the phone to the left side when the second tag is on the right side. So you can pretty well control which tag you're going to read.
And for the Android phone where you put the back of the phone on the tag, it's also about the same spacing, a quarter
Yes.
to a half inch away. Okay.
Yeah, with it, yes. The Android phone again is on the back, so it's a little bit more challenging to know exactly where it is. But what we generally have people to do is on the Android phone, we get them to hold their phone up. Let's see, I'm going to try to put this in front of you. And they'll get the tag, and we say just kind of start at the top and go across and go down and keep going back and forth, and, until you find exactly there is where the NFC reader is. And so you just remember on your phone, it's right there. And so you can usually remember that and know right where to hold that phone. And once you've done it a few times, you'll be very familiar with where that reader is. Well, one of the things that you mentioned also, like if you've got 4 or 5 shirts, this is one of the things that's really nice is say, I know that we've had a lot of people that when they finally find a blouse or a shirt or something that they really like, it fits well, and they just want to buy several different shirts of the same style, but just different colors or different patterns or whatever. And all of the washing instructions is exactly the same. They'd say, well, do I have to input that for all of those tags? And no, you don't. One of the things, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again and show you this because this is pretty fun here. So back on this same tag I've got right here, there's an edit button at the bottom. And so when I select that edit button, I can go in here and change whatever I want to. Let's say I just changed the brown hat. Okay. And then I hit that right button and I write it to a second tag. And all the information down here at the bottom is exactly the same. But if I needed to change it, I could go back and change anything. If I had, a different purchase date, I could just go in there and select the year, month, and have that in there. So it's really easy to edit. I don't want to edit that on my, write it to another tag. So if I hit this continue button, it's just going to discard all those changes in there. But that's the way you can write the same information to multiple similar items.
Darwin, do you want to show how to create a tag from the very beginning?
Sure. The difference between the edit button and the create button, we initially did not have the edit button, and it was one of those things that you just had to create everything from scratch. So the create button, when you come in, you don't, if you wanted to edit something before, you would have to delete all the information. So we added this create button. It comes in with a whole blank slate. So again, I could come in here and you just say whatever you want to. Green fern on back patio. And then you come down and you select the template. And one of the things, if we don't have anything for exactly what you're looking for, you can go directly to the custom tag and you can start adding things in that custom tag. So you could come in here and add watering instructions. I'm going to come in here and say that. Watering instructions. And so then I'm going to put the information right below that. Water once a week. And then I can come in here. Let's see, what I could do is I add another information. And this was going to be fertilizing information. So I added text again. And I had my dictation on. Fertilizing information. fertilize once each quarter. And you could put the type of what kind of fertilizer or whatever. And once you've done all that, you just hit the right button. And I'm going to pick another tag over here that I can do this to. So I'm holding the tag up to it. It says success. And so there, I've got that tag. And if I turn the voiceover on.
WayAround. Preview green fern on back patio. Watering instructions. Water once a week. List start. 1 of 2. Fertilizing information. Fertilize once each quarter. 2 of 2. List end.
And the reason we have that little heading and the text under it, because once you read this,
green fern on back patio, heading.
I might want to get directly to the fertilizing information so I can.
Fertilizing information. Fertilize once each quarter. 2 of 2. List end.
So I don't have to listen to all that information for the first tag.
Alert. Access selected. Voiceover off.
So some of the more popular things that a lot of people don't think about tagging that really become extremely useful are things like your circuit box out in your garage to know which switch is going to which item. You can go and just put one tag on the entire circuit box and create multiple text pieces of text. You might put a heading that says, in fact, I'm going to do this right quick, add this in here. I'm going to edit this tag. And if I added a field called a heading, and I'm just going to say, new group, and add some more text below it. Green tree. Let's see. Tree by bedroom window. And again, I could just write that information again. And so you could put information about several of them, but if you had voiceover on.
Voiceover on. Wait, set green fern on back patio, heading.
I could just go back and get
Watering
that very
instructions.
first item.
Green fern on back patio, heading.
But I can swipe down on my screen because I've got it set to headings, and I can skip those first things.
New group, heading level 2.
And then start swiping
Fertilizing
right.
information. Fertilize once. New group. Green tree. Tree by bedroom window. 4 of 4. List end.
So there's just a lot of power here that you can have to get the information that you want. A lot of people add information for recipes. And again, you could have what to do for the first stage of cooking something. You could have a section for ingredients. So you could have a list of all the ingredients. But once you've got those, you could just skip that and go down to the cooking instructions where the next group of information is.
That's great, Darwin. I just want to add that we have the WayTags in our 3 centers in Alexandria, DC, and Bethesda. And we also have the app on our phones. So if anyone is interested, you can just make an appointment and we can show you the how it works. And now we have even more expertise with that. Any questions before we adjourn, or any last word from Darwin or Neva? This was great. I just feel because it's not a difficult way to label things. And if once we get used to it and know what to do, I think it's just a simple way for us, and it helps a lot. No questions? Yeah, sorry, Darwin, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, we have a lot of people that have become dependent upon it. We have several users that have probably over 1,000 tags in their house We've got, in fact, our most avid user is deafblind, and she said this has been able to keep her stay in her residence, being able to find things and know what things she has.
Wow.
Nobody's asked about cost, and I'm kind of surprised that I leave that out on purpose because I want people to go, now, how much is this going to cost me? It's a pretty economical way to get started tagging your world, and that is our tags are sold in packs of 25. We do have some combination kits that keep the price low also, but typically people buy them in packs of 25. One style tag, you get 25 of them, and they range from $29.99 each, which is $1.20 each for each of the tags, to $34.99, which is $1.40 each. And the reason they're more expensive is because of the sophisticated barriers we have to put in for metal, and also the manufacturing of the way clips and that type of thing. So you're not going to spend more than $1.40 to tag anything. And that's why I make sure when I use a sticker, I don't put it on something consumable. I don't put a sticker on my bread. I put a way clip on my bread. And that way, when I'm through with that bread wrapper and I throw it away, I don't accidentally throw that sticker away.
Yeah.
We have all sorts of tips and tricks in our YouTube channel, which is also in our settings on the app. Since the app is free, you can even download it before you get any tags and go exploring in our YouTube channel. And also that's where you can easily get to how to shop for WayTags through our website. It's right there in the app.
Janice, the final word is yours because we only have 2 more minutes.
Oh, well, I know, Tara, that you mentioned that you have the WayTags in the Resource Center. I think it would be nice if you had a little workshop on it, you know.
Okay, we can do that. And you can visit us in DC then.
Absolutely.
No, that's a great idea, Janice. We'll do something for the new year.
Thank you all for presenting this to us.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. We appreciate it.
Great
We
to
always-
meet
I
all
thought-
of you.
And I thought my husband was the only one who used the term stump the chump. So now I've heard someone else say it.
Thank you very much, Darwin, Neva, for joining us today. And Happy New Year and happy holidays to all.
Thank you. To you
same
too.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Mhm.